Alright Bobcats, right now I'm going to show you how to make a basic Alfredo Bechamel sauce. Now remember, a bechamel is a milk-based sauce that has been thickened with a roux. And remember, a roux is butter and flour that's been cooked together in a pan. Now this sauce you can use for making an Alfredo pasta. You can use it in like a vegetable lasagna like we did at school. You can also use this as a white sauce for a white pizza. And that's basically what I'm going to be using this sauce for. Alright, you're going to start off by melting your butter in the pan. Alright, here I have 2 ounces of butter, basically a half a stick of butter. We're going to put that into a pan. It's on sort of low to medium. I'm actually going to turn it up a bit. You can see it'll start melting in the pan. We want to fully melt that, and then we'll add our flour. So this will just take a minute. We don't want to turn it up too much because what we don't want to do is brown the butter. You always want to take our time. We can always add heat, but once it's too hot, you can't take it away fast enough to keep things from burning. You want to do all this basically on a low to medium heat. Alright, to this butter, I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. So my butter's all melted now. I'm going to take my 3 tablespoons of flour and just put that right in there. And I do immediately want to start whisking that together. This is what's going to form our roux. Now this is what we're going to call a white roux, a golden roux. It's a very light colored roux, really a golden roux. We're not going to cook the roux very much. We're just going to get it hot. You see, it's very thin. Okay, it's kind of like a little paste. We're just going to let that start to bubble. There we go, and we're bubbling now. And to that I'm going to add my minced garlic. I've got 1 large minced garlic clove that I'm putting in there. And put that into the roux because I do want to get it to cook a little bit before we add our milk. Put these out of the way. We're going to give that a little bit of stir. And, wow, I can smell that garlic cooking in there already. That smells really good. Now we're going to take our 2 cups of cold milk and start adding that to our roux. And it is fine that the milk is cold right out of the fridge. And just start slowly mixing that in. And you notice it'll start to thicken right away. And that's fine. Just keep adding that in and stirring it up. A little more than halfway, and make sure all that flour is dissolving into the milk. We don't want lumps in there. But usually if our milk is cold, that's not going to be a problem. And I can just add the rest in there. Alright. Now we're basically going to wait for this to come to a simmer. And that's going to take a few minutes, so in the meantime though we can add most of our seasoning. The only thing we're not adding before it comes to the simmer is our Parmesan cheese. So we've got a teaspoon of salt that we're putting in. One teaspoon of salt. Stir that in. And we do want to constantly stir this while it's heating up, because the last thing we want to do is scald that milk or burn that milk on the bottom of the pan. We've got a 1/4 teaspoon of oregano. Got a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder. And we've got about a 1/4 teaspoon of fresh black pepper going in there. A few good turns. You can always add more salt, pepper, cheese, oregano, anything you want to finish with at the end after you've tasted it. But this is all a good start for your sauce. Alright. Now this is going to be a few minutes. It'll be at least 5 minutes before it comes to a simmer. Remember, we do need to come and stir it constantly, and don't take it above like a medium heat. We want this to happen slow. We want to make sure we don't burn that sauce. Alright, so our bechamel sauce has been on medium heat now for about 7 minutes, 8 minutes, and it has started to come to a simmer. It is lightly bubbling. I've still got it on like a low medium heat. And we'll notice also that the sauce really has thickened up quite a bit now. Final thing we're going to do is add our Parmesan cheese. Remember, it's not the cheese that is actually thickening the sauce. It is that roux, that butter and flour that's been cooked together. The cheese is going to be our final sort of flavoring to the sauce. We'll just go ahead and pour that in while we whisk. That was a ½ cup of grated Parmesan cheese. We're just going to whisk that in good. And I can give this probably another 5 minutes to simmer. I wouldn't give it too much more than that. It won't thicken up too much more. It's about the consistency that we want it to be. But we want to just cook off all that raw flour so it doesn't have any of that raw flour taste. I can give it a little try now. It should coat the back of a spoon, no problem, which it does. I'll blow on it and see how it tastes. That's good. I don't think it needs any more salt or anything. We can taste it after it's cooked a little bit just to make sure. But there you go. That's your Alfredo Bechamel.